Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Bwtm Sports. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments as always. Okay, the fight we're going to be talking about now is Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham. Before I go any further, let me make sure that this is showing correctly on the channel, because according to the channel, it's not showing it being live at all, which I'm quite befuddled about, because it says on here I'm live, but yet on my landing page it's not live. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about. I'm going to have a look and see if I can find out what the problem is there. So bear with me a second, so I make sure I've got the right channel and the right things. Is I think I did the event twice on my so it might be the wrong stream I'm using to see what's going on. So if I don't see that, then I can't see the comments people are leaving, and then I don't want to look like rude for not coming safe. Just bear with me a second, because I advertised this event twice over. So let me see if I can find it. I'll know which one it is, because it's going to be live and the other one won't be. What's going on here? Here it is. Let's see if I can get that. See, it's there, but let's see. No, not there. I can't see it's here. I close that one off there and look. Let me just click this here. Maybe this is the one that I can, because I can't see nobody's comments at the moment. I know people might be commenting and I can't see anything. So let me try this one and see if this is the one. Yeah, because it's live on this one. Yes. Yeah, sorry, my apologies. It is live. So there you go. I couldn't see because I had two of the events up, so I had two Hangout windows up. So we are good and we're live and we're good to go. Okay, so again, welcome to Bwtm Sports. Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham. The fight had been talked about for a while. People saying that Eubank would fight Arthur Abraham. So I'm kind of glad the fight has happened. Before we go into the actual fight itself, I want to say this, and I'm going to keep on saying it. I am so happy for Team Eubank that his father has taken his son out of the hands of rival promoters. One promoter he fought for, one promoter he fought for, or his father he fought for, and has not allowed the son to really. He's basically said, you know what, enough of this. I'm going to do it my way with my son, and I'm going to look after my son, and I'm going to make sure my son doesn't encounter the stuff that I encountered in my career. So they've gone and done it their own way, and I'm so happy for them, and I will support them as independents. I will support them to the hilt, because hey, that's what I am. That's what I want to be. That's why I strive to be an independent. And so therefore, why am I going to sit here knocking what they're doing? I don't know what they do behind closed doors. I don't know what they're like in negotiating. But what I do know is that Eubank Jr. is now fighting Arthur Abraham. And what I do know is if he wins, he enters that tournament, that super middleweight tournament, the World Series. So that is fantastic. And I think it's great. It's great to see Eubank Jr. possibly be in that tournament. Now, my thoughts on Eubank, the fighter, Jr. the fighter. I don't think he's a complete package. I think he's getting better as a fighter, but I don't think he's a complete package. His limitations when he fought Ronaldo Quinlan, I think it is, that last fight he had, moved up to super middleweight, challenged for the IBO title and won, but couldn't knock Quinlan out. Didn't look like he had the same explosive power that he had at middleweight as he did super middleweight. In fact, I didn't think Eubank was an explosive puncher at middleweight anyway. I thought he was more of a combination puncher at middleweight. And now super middleweight, yeah, just 6 pounds or 8 pounds, how many pounds it is. I don't think he's the puncher that he is at middleweight. And then with that weight, he's now fighting guys that are probably naturally bigger and stronger than himself. The best way to describe Arthur Abraham is a wall. He's just a wall. It's a type of guy that soaks up your best shots and then keeps coming forward and keeps coming forward and keeps coming forward. Arthur Abraham at middleweight was a devastating puncher, knockout artist, absolutely brutal, running through the middleweight division, knocking people out. So Arthur Abraham was a bad man in the middleweight division. And then he moved up to the super middleweight, and I think he struggled at first at the super middleweight division, but now older, he's filled out more, and he's a big, strong super middleweight. Well, big, strong in the set that, you know, he's stronger than he was when he first started getting in the super middleweight division. In comparison to the other bigger super middleweights, the guys that are coming from light heavyweight down, he's a small super middleweight in comparison. But Arthur Abraham has been through the walls. He's fought the best of the best. Can you imagine Arthur Abraham fought Carl Froch? And, you know, Arthur Abraham fought Andre Ward. Did he fight Andre Ward? Was it Andre Ward he fought? Did he fight Andre Ward? I'm sure he fought Andre Ward. Or was it Durrell? Don't quote me on that last bit. But I know he certainly fought Andre Durrell, and he fought Carl Froch. James Bashir, I spoke to, Uncle James Bashir, said to me that he believes that Arthur Abraham will beat Chris Eubank Jr. That's what James Bashir said. I don't think Eubank is, as I said, I don't think he's a complete fighter. I don't. Things about him, he's like loses concentration lapses, does throw a lot of punches. Not all of them get through. And against a guy like Arthur Abraham, who's going to tuck up tight, if Eubank Jr. cannot hurt Arthur Abraham, he's not only in for a long night, he's not defensively responsible, Eubank Jr. And I think this is the, on paper, the biggest puncher that Eubank Jr. has been in the ring with. Bigger puncher than Spike O'Sullivan, bigger puncher than Billy Joe Saunders. This is the biggest puncher that Eubank Jr. is going to be in the ring with. And he can't make the sort of mistakes he made against Spike O'Sullivan, because if his chin is less than durable, then Arthur Abraham will put it on him. Let's be honest, Arthur Abraham is at the tail end of his career. And Arthur Abraham, people would say he's shot. But Arthur Abraham's still heavy-handed. He still fights behind that guard. And he was good enough to beat Paul Smith. He was good enough to beat Martin Murray, who is, you know, he beat Martin Murray. But, you know, he got beat by Ramirez. He's come back. But it depends how much Arthur Abraham's got left in the tank. And, you know, the short time between the announcement of the fight and him preparing to fight Eubank Jr., whether he's going to have things like weight issues. What weight was he when the fight was, before the fight was announced? Was Abraham in training before that for this fight? Things like that, you know. So those things concern me about Abraham. Abraham has got a simple style, but it's a consistent, simple style. And like I said, if Chris Eubank Jr., the one good punch Eubank has in his arsenal is that right uppercut. The uppercut is a key punch, and I can see Abraham eating a lot of those uppercuts. If he's going to stop Arthur Abraham, I don't see Eubank stopping him off one shot. I can see it being a combination of punches that would stop Abraham. That being said, Abraham has fought bigger punches than Chris Eubank Jr. and not been stopped. So, like I said, if Eubank Jr. can't stop Abraham and he hasn't got the power to stop someone like Arthur Abraham, he could be in a world of trouble. Because, you know, once you follow those flashy combinations, and then you're in a guy that can hit you back and can hurt you. Now, if Abraham has the power to hurt Eubank, he's got power, and he's a heavy-handed kind of guy. If he can hurt Eubank Jr., you know, then Bashir could be right about, you know, the fact that Eubank Jr. could get beat by by him. Ward was the one who said he's a hard puncher. He definitely not a complete fighter, but love watching him. Abraham is a tough nut, will go the distance. Yeah, I mean, how good is Chris Eubank Jr.? I mean, when we saw him doing all the pad work with Mayweather Jr., Mayweather Senior, of course, those things were impressive. I warned boxing fans about Eubank Senior and what he would do to Junior. And then that's before he actually came out and revealed what he allowed his son to take a beating and watched him take that beating. I said to boxing fans, this is a sort of thing that Eubank Jr. would have had to endure before his father he believed he had the ability. I suspect that Eubank Jr. can take a beating. I suspect. I only say that because of what his father's told us. And I only say that because if he gets rough and tough in there against Abraham, and it could be, like I said, because Eubank is not a big puncher, he's a volume puncher, yes. But is he world class? Is he world class? He's a good fighter. He didn't beat Billy Joe Saunders for whatever reason. But is he a world class fighter? And if you're going to say he's world class, what makes him world class? He won the IBO belt against a guy who had a handful of fights. He won the other strap as well. WBA, I don't know what that belt was he had beforehand. The interim belt, yeah, he had the WBA interim belt, I believe. But is he world class? Forget what his dad says. Is he world class? If you break it down, who's he fought and beaten of world quality? You know what? Let me go to BoxRec, because at least Bashir is invariably wrong, says Mr. Skeptical. Eubank Jr. has been in with Cuban heavyweight, I heard. Yes, he is. Did you hear Eubank Jr. say to his illegitimate son today, "Are we cool?" LOL. Yeah, I saw that. Are we cool? What a time to ask a question like that. Are we cool? Maybe he asked, "Are we cool?" Meaning like, if there's any differences, let's not do this in public. It could get embarrassing. Let's not air our differences out in public, shall we not? And vacated it to avoid Danny Jacobs. Eubank is a world-class athlete and a good fighter. Think Eubank's the real deal. Need to step up and is doing. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Eubank is certainly world-class, but he will have a stern test against slick counter-puncher in Abraham. I don't. It's certainly world-class. I mean, like I said, let me go to BoxRec a second, and then we can just say, just out of the, I'm going to use BoxRec to look at who they fought. And I'm doing it that way. I'm not doing it because of, you know, we know that Arthur Abraham, without a doubt, is a world-class fighter. We know that. We don't even have to argue that point. But Eubank Jr., is he world-class? And if so, what are we going to, what do we determine as world-class? Let me just, okay. So I'm on BoxRec now, and I'm looking at Eubank Jr. Well, he's ranked 5 in the world and 3 in Britain. Okay, so he's behind, I guess, George Groves and James DeGale. Okay, so let's just go for his record a second and tell me who he's fought on his record that's world class. Okay, let's look at the record. Just trying to be objective as possible here. Look at the guy he fought before he fought Billy Joe Saunders. The records. First guy he fought was 8, had 8 fights, had won 8, lost 15. This guy, then he fought Jason Paul, 5 fights, 5 defeats. or 5 wins, 5 defeats. Then he fought somebody 5-0-1. Then he fought 12-5-1. Then 11-11-6. Then 8-11-1. The one in the middle is the loss, by the way. 13-22-1. 33-11-0. That's Bradley Price. And then he fought Tyann Booth 11-9-2. Then he fought 15-7-1, 8-1-0, 8-5-3, 22-5-2, 13-2-0, 13-3-0, 19-2-0. Then he fought a guy called Omar Salia that had 23-17-3. He then fought Billy Joe Saunders, who's 20-0, British, Commonwealth, and European titles. He lost in a split decision. He then fought Dmitry Chudinov for the, as I said, WBA Interim World Championship with a record of 14-0. Then he fought Tony Jetta, 20-4. Then he fought Gary Sullivan, 22-1, or by the time Eubank tied him. Then he fought Nick Blackwell, 19-3-1. Tom Doran, 17-0. And then he fought Ronaldo Quinlan, 11-1. Okay, so look at those guys there. None of those guys have had over. Let me think here. Yeah, none of those guys here have the sort of experience of Arthur Abraham. All right. Now you look at Arthur Abraham's record, 46-5. We're not going to look at the records of the guys fought, but the quality of the guys Arthur Abraham's fought. Okay. Now his knockout rate percentage is 59%, but this is like against the best in the world. So Krasnicki, Ramirez, Murray, forget Murray, Stiglitz, Paul Smith, no, forget Smith, Stiglitz, Andre Ward, Carl Froch, Durrell, Taylor, Miranda, Eastman. Wow, I fought Howard Eastman. Oh my God. All right, so you just see on the record there with Abraham, he's fought a higher level of opposition. So Eubank's got a high percentage of knockouts, but against guys at lower opposition. Eubank needs to set away from David Benavidez. The guy only 20 is the truth. Okay. Don't worry, they won't let him within a million miles of Benavidez. I think Benavidez is fighting Durrell, the brother Durrell. The other brother. Not Anthony Durrell. Can't remember the other brother's name. Yeah, he's fighting the other Durrell. Abraham works for 30 seconds of a round, works in Germany, won't work over here when Eubank's all over him like a dog. Yeah, I understand that point. But it's when he works within those 30 seconds. If he can hurt Eubank in them 30 seconds, it's something. Define world class, Ingram. I'll define world class. For me, a definition of world class is when you are operating at the highest level in or among other athletes that are in the elite level. So a world-class fighter has to be a guy that fights at the elite level. So if I would call you a world-class athlete, is if like Usain Bolt, and then everybody on that list, that top 10 in the world, I will call them world-class fighters because they're at the top end of the scale in terms of their performance and who they're performing against. I can't call a guy a world-class fighter who's not operating with the best in the world. So Eubank Jr. may have potential to be a world-class fighter, but at this point, he is not a world-class fighter because who has he fought that's world-class? Or you could say Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, fine. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders, I'll give you that. They didn't beat him, so that still justifies my point. Eubank Jr. has fought guys, could you say on the cusp of world class? Chudinov, cusp of world class? I don't know, but he's not world class. He may be a world class athlete, but again, if you're going to call him a world class athlete, what's that comparable to? If that's comparable to me or you that sits down in front of this screen at one another, then I'm not so sure if that's a world. The comparable to him being a world, yes, but if you're comparing, Eubank Jr. with Andre Ward, then is he a world class athlete? He's just a good athlete that's dedicated to the sport. This is my point. What world class fighter did AJ beat before he beat Klitschko? Now, remember what I said. Consistently fighting at world level. I didn't say one fight. Consistently, which means you're doing it all the time. You do it again and again and again and again. That's a world-class athlete. Usain Bolt is a world-class athlete. He does it again and again and again and again against the best, always competing around the best. Andy Murray, who just got knocked out at Wimbledon today, would be a world-class athlete because he's doing it against the best. His competition is the best. He's not fighting. He's not playing against. He may play against other opposition that's lower than himself, but against the guys, generally he's fighting. He's competing against the best in the world when he gets to the last four quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. He's playing against the best in the world. So when you talk about world class, it's not doing it for one night. World class is doing it consistently and a consistent operating over and over and over again. That's what I call world class. I call Andre Ward a world class fighter. I call Rigondeaux a world class fighter. Doing it over and over and over and over again, consistently against the very best and winning or holding your own against the best. So let's see who else. Let me think. A world class fighter. Marco Hook, I would call a world-class fighter. He's fought the best, and in or around the best fighters in the world, I will call him a world-class fighter. Usyk, I would say he certainly has got the tools of a world-class fighter. He's demonstrated those things in the amateurs, and you would certainly think that he has the tools to go on to be a world-class fighter. He's on the cusp, because I think for me, he's got to fight 3 or 4 more other world-class fighters for me to be world-class. So I think it's just a matter of consistent. Carl Frampton. Yeah, you could call Carl Frampton a world-class fighter, yes, because he's fought in that level of the opposition of fighters. So I'd call him world-class, yes. Okay, it doesn't matter whether he is world class or not. These labels are put in. Everyone builds up to be world class. Give them time. Yeah, of course, agreed. But are we? What my debate and my point is tonight is that is he world class at this point in time? And I'm saying no, he's not, because who has he beat to be considered world class? Name me one guy in the record, the Eubank's record at the moment, that makes him world class, and that's you're going to struggle. Reports from different gyms say Eubank can really fight. Froch, Hay, Booth said even though his coaching relationship didn't last. Okay, Paul Smith and Murray were close to beating him. I'm sure Eubank will be better than those two. Yeah, I would think so. What world class fight are we talking about? No one. Yeah, he beat world champion Dillian White. Maybe if Abraham was a bit younger, I would give him a chance. Yeah, I understand that. That's true. Eubank has been given time to become world class. A loss to Billy Joe Saunders doesn't mean he's not. Yeah, over time he can become a world class fighter. But my analogy, somebody asked me what I thought of what a world class fight was somebody who was performing consistently at a level, not one fight. Not one fight. When AJ beat Klitschko, he then broke into world class. You see, from contender to champion, he broke into world class because he beat an athlete that was world class. So he broke into world class. So for me, that's where I say he would have been on the cusp of world class. He beat somebody world class. So then he's broken into world class. Now he has to consistently. So now if he goes and beats Pulev now, you call him a world class athlete because you've got a guy who's fought at that level. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. So that's how I class him as world class. Eubank was good in his last fight, but he looked like he lacked power. This is my point, and that's Quinlan. And are you going to say Quinlan is a world class fighter? No, sir. Against the boys at 168, maybe he does. My scorecard said Eubank won the fight against Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, well then, you know what? Go to BoxRec and change the score. I think Eubank is actually going to win by KO TKO. I think it's worth a bet. Do you? Well, it could be. If it's going to happen, I think it will happen late stoppage, 9, 10, 11, 12. Around that time, I could see Eubank maybe kind of breaking through on Abraham. But I want to see how Eubank responds to Abraham hitting on the chin, because that is a different proposition altogether. Eubank Jr. is going to get harder in this fight than he's got hit hard in any other fight in his career. And nobody really knows how good Eubank's chin is. I do know that when Saunders caught him, he kind of shook him up a little bit. So how good is Eubank's chin? Nobody really knows. We know he seems to have a decent chin. But if he makes the sort of mistakes he made against Spike O'Sullivan, where he got hit clean on the chin, you can't afford to make mistakes against a guy like Abraham. So I want to know what happens when Abraham hits Eubank on the chin. That's what I want to know. My point is that you should not call. My point is not that you should call AJ world class. I'm saying that that calling someone world class is pointless because someone like Klitschko was beaten by a not so world class fighting AJ. No, I said AJ was on the cusp of world class. He fought in the Olympics, so he had a certain pedigree about him. So he was on the cusp of it. What do you think of Eubank Senior and Nathaniel, mate? What do I think of it? I think they should have met earlier and cleaned up any sort of nonsense that needs to be cleaned up, because they knew that he was turning pro and all the rest of it, if they haven't done it already. AJ was my favourite in the bookies to beat Klitschko. Mr. Skeptical. Okay. James DeGale's world class. Last 3 fights puts him there. Now you know what I'm talking about. Now we know what we're talking. Now you get me, because there's a record. There's a bang 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 bang. There's a record. People would say, well, Fury wasn't world ranked, but Fury wasn't a great world class fighter. But he beat Chisora. He beat a few guys he beat on the way through. Hamer. Well, look what Hamer went and did the other day to Price. Price wasn't world class, and he got exposed. You ordered as he fought in the Olympics. He did, but he didn't train properly as a pro. So that's my argument there, and I can talk to you about that. I actually went to college with Audley. I know the story of Audley very well. So my cousin used to manage Audley, so I know the Audley story better than most. Eubank has yet to be tested. I agree. People said his dad took a good shot, so Eubank Jr. took a shot. No, it doesn't work like that. We have to see him get hit by someone like Abraham. Do you think Eubank beats DeGale, Ingram? Listen, I did a video on James DeGale. I said James DeGale needs a trainer. I've said it before and I'll say it again. James DeGale needs a trainer. He needs a trainer. Jim McDonald does a great job with him as a fitness man, but he technically needs a good trainer. It's genetics. Yeah. Okay. All right. Biology rules. Well, let's hope those genetics are there. But if genetics was the key, and let me just drop this to you: how many fighters do you know whose fathers have been world champions and great world champions, that their sons have come behind them and done better than them? I'm waiting for you to answer that question. Zippo, none. Zilch, none. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Senior. Yep, one's a great fighter, great chin. The other one had lacked application and dedication. Eubank was unbeaten in a long time before he was unbeaten for a long while. and was world champion. Eubank Jr. has already failed on that point. So there you have it already. But yet somehow Eubank Jr. is a better fighter than Eubank Sr. I disagree with that as well. Eubank Jr. is yet to fight a Nigel Benn, you know, in a brutal fight like a Nigel Benn, a puncher like Nigel Benn. He's yet to fight a Michael Watson. You know, these guys are class fighters. Eubank Jr. has fought nothing like that yet. He's going to get a taste of what world class is when he fights Abraham. Eubank Jr. is jumping like from European level to world class. You know, so what do you think of Tony Sims, Ingram, after Ohara Davis' performance? I think Conor Benn is on to a loser with him in his corner, to be honest, mate. I've said my point already about such trainers in the UK, and very few ones that I've got a lot of respect for. Well, Eubank could break that trend. You're hoping Eubank breaks that trend. You're hoping. He hasn't fought a Ben or a Watson yet. He has to beat a Ben and he has to beat a Watson and remain unbeaten. Well, he hasn't done that. And he won an IBO belt. I don't see that being better than your father. His father was doing a world tour and unbeaten. And let's be honest, his father was ruined because of the second Michael Watson fight. Can Eubank Jr. be in a fight like that? You're saying it like that pattern is indisputable. As I said, we have to see what Junior has to offer. Exactly. And we have to find out what Junior has to offer. Not what his dad's been telling us, not what this is his first real world-class opponent in front of him. You know? Eubank Jr.'s technique was dreadful. Is Eubank Jr., Eubank Sr.'s counter-punching skills was very good. He was brilliant counter-punching, but he was terrible coming forward in fights. His son is 100% better boxer. Disagree with you there. Well, he hasn't fought a Ben or a Watson yet. So he hasn't fought a Ben or a Watson. So how can you say that he's a better boxer? He's fought half the level that his father fought at. So he hasn't fought the quality of opposition yet. This is his first. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders. This is his first guy that's got this. He's got heavy hands, and that's coming from Andre Ward. He's got heavy hands. I'm not saying Eubank won't beat a shot after Abraham. I'm not saying that to you. What I'm saying to you is it's a step above. And when you move a step above, your punching power, you know, the percentage starts going down because you're now fighting guys that are a lot tougher. So Eubank has to be tested. Has to be tested. Yet we know that he can mix it with the best for GGG. So he probably beat the best. Oh, he's yet to be tested. He hasn't been tested. Who do you think is the reason? What do you think is the reason for Eubank's lack of one-punch knockout power, Ingram? Senior, when asked, reckons it's because he's of the padding. LOL. What do you reckon, mate? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he just hasn't got that power that his father had. Their frames are not the same. And it could be the way he punches when he punches. He'll be able to give GGG problems. Yeah, you still don't know how good his chin is. Eubank is a shit boxer, but a good fighter. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that too. I would say Eubank isn't a good boxer. I don't think Eubank Jr. is a good boxer. I think he's more of a brawler. Eubank's a brawler. Eubank's a brawler that's got, I don't know if he's got a good heart, and I don't know if he's got a great chin. I don't know about that. I know he's athletic. I know he's got a high output of punches. I know that he likes to be on top. I know he likes to take liberties with guys who are lesser than himself. What I don't know about is his heart. I don't know about his chin, and I don't know about his will to win. I just don't. I don't. Um, you're talking about fighting in him. His boxing skills are far better. Um, again, I can't say that because who's he doing it against? For the first 6 rounds, Billy Joe Saunders outboxed him, made him look like a kid. And then he started to fight. All right? Yeah, he's got a great engine. I agree. Eubank Jr.'s got a great engine. That is one thing you can't knock about him. Senior says he's got the power, but he uses a lot of padding, so he isn't knocking them over. But that doesn't make sense to him, don't you think? Protecting his hands, maybe the wrapping. I don't know. I couldn't answer that. But he better find that punching power against Abraham, because if he doesn't find the punching power against Abraham, and Abraham starts to close the distance on Mr. Eubank, it's when Eubank Jr. is amazingly skillful fighter. I don't know. He's been skillful at the level he's fought at, but Abraham's another level. And may I just say that July the 15th is also my birthday. So I am like, and so many good fights on my birthday. I'm like, yeah, this fight's here, and that fight's there, and this fight's here. So for my birthday, I'm very happy. I would love to travel down to see Eubank Jr. versus Arthur Abraham, but I've got other plans. So, but yeah, it's my birthday, so I just thought I'd add that as well. The birthday boy. So I'll probably be commentating on the fight for my birthday. Lucky me. So yeah, just to wrap this up, I think to Eubank's father making the right moves at the right times for his son, he knows what he has done. Yeah, too. Can you tell someone's boxing skills from hitting the bag? Absolutely not. No, you can't. You can't, because the bag doesn't hit back first and foremost. The bag's not hurting you. The bag's not question. The bag's not. I'm not asking you a question. Should I come out for the next round? The bag's not punching your nose and making you see stars. The bag's not punching you to the body and making you wonder, oh, I don't know if I want to be a part of this anymore. The bag's not backing you up. So you can look devastating on the bag. I looked at myself the other day when I was hitting a punching bag. I looked great. But I was saying to myself, yeah, you look great. I wonder what happened if somebody popped you back in the mouth. Do you know, just being honest. So, you know, he does waste a lot of punches, I think, Eubank Jr. wastes a lot of punches. And against someone like Arthur Abraham, who tucks up tight, and he does all that stuff, the output might be interesting. But at that level, he may get countered, Eubank Jr. Senior wastes a lot less punches than Junior and had more one-punch power. Junior just wins with accumulation punches. He has a good engine and he's relentless punch output. That's my point. I totally agree with you there. Eubank looks like he's punching hard on them wall machines. LOL. Yeah, but of course he looks like he's punching hard. But let's see Arthur Abraham punching them as well. You've got to remember, Arthur Abraham at the middleweight division was laying guys out. Arthur Abraham was a bad man in the middleweight division. Again, I'm not saying Arthur Abraham is going to beat Eubank Jr. I'm just saying that it's a step up. It's a step up. And depending on how good Eubank Jr.'s skills are, it's either a huge step up, or if he's world class, like everybody says he's world class, Abraham should be a problem. But may I just remind you that he stepped up to fight Quinlan, right? Let me bring you back to the Quinlan fight, just to bring you back to that. For those, Eubank's definitely world class. Let me remind you of the fight he had against Quinlan. Okay, hold on. I just want to remind you, because if I don't remind you, then look. Okay. Right, Quinlan. 11 fights, 7 KOs, 2 losses. Obviously, one of his losses was to Chris Eubank Jr. Jr. went to points against our friend, Mr. Quinlan, who, if you look at his record, in fact, the only name that's on his record is Daniel Gill. Okay? And he couldn't, and it was, the fight was TKO. Was TKO? It's a TKO. According to this, is TKO. I thought the fight went to points personally. There you go. It's TKO. This guy's ranked number 19 in the world and number 1 in Australia. His KO is a 54% KO ratio. Quinlan. And if you got the guys he KO'd, I mean, he fought Daniel Gilbert, he'd have been KO'd so many times already. So he stopped him. Looks like, yeah, okay. Junior wins because of youth. Yeah, well, I hope so. Who's your pick in the Super Series? And who do you think? What do you think about Eubank Senior's pick for Junior? Eubank Senior's not fighting them. Eubank Senior's not fighting him. I don't know about his pick. I'll have to look at it. But Eubank Senior's not fighting him. Eubank Senior's standing up. You know what? I would question whether Eubank Senior would have even fought in a tournament like that. He talks about the Warriors code and all that stuff. Would he have ever fought in a tournament like that? Judging by his career, I don't think he would have done. I know Nigel Benn would have fought in a tournament like that, but Eubank Jr., Eubank Senior, let's remember, he ducked Tony, he ducked Nunn. Who else he ducked? He ducked Mike McCallum, remember? And Nigel Benn fought McLennan. Doug DeWitt, Iran Barkley. So Ben would have fought in the Super 6. He would have fought in this World Series tournament. But Eubank went off that. So they've picked some bloke we haven't heard of, and they will put him in on ITV on pay-per-view. Yeah, but be careful. If Abraham beats Eubank Jr., where does that put Eubank? Where does that leave Eubank Jr. on ITV? If Eubank Jr. were to sensationally get beat or knocked out by Arthur Abraham late, where would that put Eubank Jr., by the way? I'm just asking a question. I mean, people saying he's going to win that tournament. I don't think so. I don't think he wins that tournament. I really don't. I don't think he wins the tournament. Personally, I don't. People say he's a favourite to win that tournament. I don't think so. Eubank Jr. needs to fight someone like George Groves. Then I'd be more convinced of him. George Groves. You know one thing I know about Groves? He'll punch. He can punch. I say George Groves is pretty accurate and he's seasoned and he can punch. So I'd like to see Eubank Jr. versus George Groves. That would be a fight I'd like to see. Seasoned, can punch. Yeah, I'd like to see him fight someone like George Groves. But as for Arthur Abraham, in closing, I think he's been a good fight. The smart money would say points. If you're going to get brave in this, you'd say Eubank Jr. late. An uppercut starts the damage through the middle of Arthur Abraham's guard. And if you're going to back Arthur Abraham, you would say, okay, Eubank punches himself out. Eubank his chin isn't as good as people make him out to be. And if his chin's not as good, if his chin's not world class, Abraham will test it and find it out. And if Abraham can hurt Eubank Jr. either to the body or to the head, it'll be interesting. We're yet to see what happens when Eubank Jr. gets hurt in a fight, what he does and how he responds. I still feel a lot of Eubank Jr.'s stuff is very amateurish, but we'll see. This is the night we're going to see where Eubank Jr. is. Is he European class? Is he world class? Is he fringe world class? Or is he breaking into world class? This is the fight that's going to say, because the last time he fought somebody who was in the remote talking of world class, he fluffed his lines. He's back now. He's on the cusp of world class for me. If he walks through Arthur Abraham, great, fantastic. You beat your first real world class fighter, even if he's older. But for me, don't write off Arthur Abraham. Don't write him off. Don't write off his punch power. Don't write off his defense. Don't write off his world class experience. So, you know, nobody here can say to me, yeah, Eubank's got a great chin. We know he has, because he took a big punch off a big fight. No, you can't. We don't know. We know Senior took a great shot because of what he did against Nigel Benn. And we knew Nigel Benn was one of the most phenomenal punchers. He's a phenomenal puncher, as Eubank would say. You know, Nigel was a phenomenal puncher. The first big puncher that Eubank's fought in his career is Arthur Abraham. And Chris Eubank Jr., another fighter who is I've lost my train of thought because I just read something come up and I can't believe somebody wrote that down. Watch Abraham hitting the bag and watch Eubank hitting the bag. You will tell who has more skills. I don't think somebody hitting the bag determines if they've got more skills. Arthur Abraham has proven he's a skillful fighter, 2-weight world champion, and fought the best in the world, fought in Super 6, fought the best in the world. The skills proves nothing because he's too old. Well, don't count Arthur Abraham out, because if he hurts Eubank Jr., you've got a different fight on our hands. I'm telling you, this is the first fighter. This is the first world-class athlete. And the thing about Eubank Jr., he is defensively irresponsible. I said this a few nights ago. Who was I talking about who I called defensively irresponsible? Ohara Davis. Ohara Davis is defensively irresponsible. And I have to say that Eubank Jr. is along the same road as defensively irresponsible, meaning he doesn't mind throwing his own punches, but he doesn't think about what's coming back at him. And I think that he is one of these fighters who are defensively irresponsible. And the fact he's defensively irresponsible and Arthur Abraham can be accurate with his punches, it makes for a good fight. I'm going to the Eubank fight on Saturday. I hope it's going to be a war. Yeah, I'm sure it will be a war. And if it's a war, we're going to find out what Eubank Jr. is made of. We know what Arthur Abraham's made of. We don't know what Eubank Jr. is made of. Come Saturday night, on my birthday, we're going to find out what Eubank Jr. is like. Bashir thinks there's going to be an upset. I'm sitting on the fence. I don't think Eubank Jr. is world class yet. And if Abraham quits or the ref stops the fight, what will you say? Well done, Chris Eubank Jr. You fought your first world-class opponent. Proven world-class opponent. But I'm not shutting the door on Arthur Abraham just like that. I'm not. I'm going for a late stoppage, like 11. I can see that. Abraham has no skills. He walks forward with hands up with no head movement, just walking you down. Where's the skill in that? Yeah, okay. Well, 2-weight world champion, knocked out Jermaine Taylor. Eubank Jr. could never beat Jermaine Taylor. I don't care what you tell me. Eubank Jr. could never beat, at middleweight, Eubank Jr. could never beat Jermaine Taylor. What? Come on, man. Jermaine Taylor. Don't. Listen, Abraham's got skills. You sit there about Abraham ain't got no skills. Abraham's got skills. You might not appreciate the skills Abraham has got, but Abraham has got good skills. Abraham's a guy, he's got a different type of style. He tucks up tight, he absorbs your best shots, and then lets his punches go. If you're going to say skill set, well, okay, Eubank Jr., Eubank Sr.'s skill set was he only fought for 30 seconds of the round. So what? So I would disagree with you there. I would definitely disagree with you with the fact that Abraham's got no skill set. You might not appreciate his skill set, but I think Abraham has got a skill set. Eubank picks ranked 16 are ranked in all 4 bodies: 3 WBC, 7 WBIBF. No, so well ranked with decent record. Yep, go. Eubank got skills and is the younger man. That don't mean anything. Paul Taylor, yeah. Even Ramirez didn't stop. Yeah, okay, but it'll be a competitive fight. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Eubank stops Abraham like in the first 6 rounds or something like that. It'll be something. Yes, Abraham has a great skill set. He's got a solid set, and that's what's got him to world title. His defense used to be great, and he was as strong as an ox. Absolutely. How can you say he's not got a strong skill set? How can you say he's not got a strong skill set? I can't believe you said that. I mean, I mean, are you going to tell? The guy's got a great skill set. He's got. I appreciate his skill set. Okay, I think Floyd Mayweather's got a great skill set, but people call him boring. But that's because he's got a great skill set and he's not allowing you to hit him. Okay. Again, Eubank Jr. versus Kessler. Wow, that would be a great fight too. Kessler, a world-class operator. I agree. Who's your favorite boxer at the moment, bro? My favorite boxer has been, and for a very long time, Andre Ward. It has been for a long time. I stated it for the first Kovalev fight. He's my favorite fighter because as a boxer, if I was gonna box in this era of any sort of fighter, it'd be Andre Ward. It wouldn't be Floyd Mayweather. It'd be Andre Ward because he can box on the inside, he can box on the outside, he can box from side to. He can move from side to side. He's a thinking fighter. To me, Andre Ward is like the Batman of the boxing universe. Andre Ward's like the Batman of the boxing universe. He's not the strongest man in the boxing community. He's not got the biggest punch in the boxing community. He's not got the fastest hands in the boxing community. But what he trumps a lot of fighters with is his boxing brain, where he's got the ability to break a fighter down and then make the adjustments and then fight. And I call him like the Batman of boxing. So I love Andre Ward. I like the way he conducts himself in and out of the ring. I like the way he conducts himself as a fighter. People say, well, he's dirty. I don't listen to all that stuff. He does what he has to do to win. It's the referee's responsibility to pull him up. But Andre Ward, for me, is my favorite fighter. What do I think in Prince Naseem Hamed? I think a lot of him. He was one of my favorite fighters. I actually got to interview the Prince, and that interview is either on this channel or Bwtm Sports, Bwtm. I did an interview. Just type it in, Bayloric Hamed or Naseem Hamed, and he's got the interview there. Abraham is only tough. What he does takes no skills. Okay, well, I tell you what. You know what? You get in the ring. You get in the ring and put your hands up and walk forward, and walk forward and see how far it takes you in your career. Try it. Try walking forward like Abraham does. Just tuck up and just walk forward and see how far. See if you can become a world-class fighter in 2 different weight divisions and fight guys like Jermaine Taylor and Andre Ward and Durrell and Howard Eastman and Miranda, and fight with a broken jaw. Let's see if you could do that. So no, I don't agree with that. I would say a guy like Anthony Crolla lacks that sort of skill set. Tucks up tight, like a lot of Joe Gallagher fighters, tuck up tight, left to the body. That's a lack of skill set. Abraham's not like that. Good choice. Fully fit Tyson Fury versus Joshua. Who wins? Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko wipes the floor with Joshua. Tyson Fury at the moment versus Joshua, give Joshua the edge. What do I think of Rob Bryan? I don't know. I'm going to get to know more about him. Bellew would be beaten, but I respect Bellew chat more now. Yeah, Bellew's good, but again, the lost art of inside fighting, and a lot of fighters today can box on the outside and look great. Golovkin great on the outside. Kovalev great on the outside. What's his name? What's this guy? The Wizard, the Matrix. What's his name? Shit. Lomachenko, great on the outside, but can these guys fight on the inside? No, sir. No, he can't fight up on the chest. Any guy who gets on the inside of these guys, Bellew, he'll fight great on the outside. If Andre Ward's able to get inside, he's going to have a lot of presence there. Bellew could take a payday against Ward rather than a heavyweight. I heard he's signed to fight Hay again. I think Bellew can fight on the inside, but not as good as Wolf. No, he's not an inside fighter, Bellew. Only because of Bellew's hook. Bellew's not an inside fighter. Forget it. He's not an inside fighter. I never said Abraham wasn't tough, but that's all he is. I'll tell you what, mate. Do yourself a favor, Juicy. Andre Ward will smash belly. Okay, do me a favor. Do me a favor, right? Go in a box. Go in a box. Go in a boxing gym. Yeah. Put your hands up and let somebody punch you round after round after round, and then you throw for only 30 seconds around. Right? See if you can do it. See if you can do it, and then knock people out. See if you can do it. And then you may appreciate how good Arthur Abraham is. Fair enough. Would like to see Hay fight again. I believe he is fighting again. I don't know who he's fighting against, but he's back on Dave TV. So yeah, I will not have somebody say that Arthur Abraham's got no skill set. No way. No way. There are people that are tough that put their hands up and do that stuff and get knocked out. Arthur Abraham is a top fighter. He's a top fighter. Definitely. Definitely. I wonder if he'll be. I wonder if Arthur Abraham be a Hall of Famer when he retires. Probably would be actually Arthur Abraham Hall of Famer. What do you think of Joyce? Do you think he can do anything? Yeah, I think so. I think Joyce has he's got good amateur pedigree. So why wouldn't he do well? Just how he's managed, how he's promoted. It's gonna be key. Yeah. Okay, I think I've finished here. But thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your comments and your thoughts. It's really good. And if you like the video and you like the debate, please hit the subscribe button and share the video. I've boxed all my life, Ingram. Oh, okay. If you've boxed all your life, then where are you rated as a pro? And as a pro, if you're a pro, how much you know? How you know much about Michael Page MMA turning pro boxer? No, I don't. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't. I can't say I'm up on things as much as I have been of late. I'm guilty because I'm building the Bwtm gaming channel as well. So when you get a chance, get over to. Actually, let me see if I can get it for you, so you guys can come across. Let me see if you, let me see. I'm gonna get it quickly. Let me find it for you. Hold on. Right, do me a favor. What you describe about letting someone hit me on the arms and try and knock them out takes skills or toughness? No, there's an element of skill because he's not getting knocked out. So that's a skill. He's not getting knocked out, but he's knocking people out. So now you want to get abusive with me. Well, you know what? You were cool, but you know what? I don't have anybody talk to me like that in my room. Bye. See you later. I'm not sure about Dubois, to be honest. Punch is hard, but again, let's see what he gets hit back on the chin. Right, there it is. If you check that channel out there, that's the gaming channel. Of course, it's skill because a guy, there's an element of skill to do that. You know, this guy who was in, he just said that there's no skill in what Abraham does. There's got to be skill because he's faced some of the biggest punches in the division. He's faced being a smaller guy. Abraham's a bad man. He's a real good fighter. What do you think of Galahad? Galahad gone backwards. I met Galahad actually, and he's a nice guy. We'll see how he does. I don't know. Yeah, this is the channel. Please hit the go across. Hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I don't have anybody abusing me on my channel. Absolutely none. I don't stand for it. I don't know where I should have had my Google bot out tonight because my bot would have blocked him. Don't want to block my bot is tonight, but yeah, should put the bot on. But yeah, I'm not having people abusing me on my channel, mate. Sorry, you'll learn real fast. You don't come on my channel calling me a dickhead. It don't happen. You get blocked straight up. Sorry, do it on somebody else's channel, not on my channel. You ain't running shit on my channel, right? So yeah, to close, I think I don't know much about Galahad too much. I know, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Galahad. To be honest, he's another one who I think is defensively lacking as well. Good luck, chat, bro. Really appreciate it. Ingram 1-on-1 tonight. Yeah, of course, gotta be. I'm not having it. Not having it. Not having it. Not having it whatsoever. People are chatting shit about, oh, he's got no skill. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what you got a lot of people in boxing to get today who run around with cameras and write about boxing. I haven't got a clue about boxing. I haven't got a clue. You see, he boxed all his career. If you boxed all your life, then you would understand exactly how good Arthur Abraham is. Arthur Abraham is a very talented fighter, very talented. So I will not stand for somebody telling me Arthur Abraham's a bum. He's not a bum. But hey, I won't stand for it on my channel. You know, Arthur Abraham should be respected as being one of the best fighters in the world. He might be older now. I appreciate that. He certainly isn't the fighter he was back then. I appreciate that. And if you came with me that approach, yes. But to turn around and say Arthur Abraham's a bum and he's got no skill, he's got no head movement. Okay, he's not Floyd Mayweather, but not everybody's Floyd Mayweather. Okay, not everyone's 49-0. But let's appreciate what Arthur Abraham brings to the table. Arthur Abraham is a bad man. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's a bad man. I think Tony Sims has proved the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I agree. It takes skills, Ingram, to catch a punch on the arm and counter punch. It's typical English fighters who don't understand this, and that's why they get found at world level. Thank you very much. Beautifully put. Absolutely beautifully. Absolutely beautifully put. Beautifully put. And that's why. What do I think of the Ohara situation? Well, I told you about the Ohara situation before he went into the fight against Josh Taylor. I said he's defensively irresponsible. And when you're defensively irresponsible against a guy who throws all the correct punches, I said he needs to make sure his back isn't against the ropes when he fights Taylor. I said, because if he has his back against the ropes against a guy like Taylor, where Taylor's best work comes when he actually is up against the ropes, Davis is going to find himself in trouble. And how did he get knocked out? By those same things. Back against the ropes. Josh Taylor, you know, knocking him out. So there you go. Ohara can come again, just needs to work on a few things. It's beyond a few things he's got to work on. He needs to learn the basics. I'm sorry. He learns to learn the basics. He needs to understand distance, space, when to throw shots, when not to throw shots. He knows how to block shots. He needs to learn how to roll. He needs to know how to deal with pain. He needs to learn how to deal with being hurt and how to come back from that. I mean, look, when he got hurt, how he responded, he showed he was hurt. That's a certain thing. Things like that is what, yeah, he looked so poor. He looked so poor because of the pedigree of Taylor. And if you remember the breakdown of the fight I did between Taylor and Ohara Davis, I made it a point to talk about Taylor's amateur career. And I said he's got a decorated amateur career, and that would be key. Very much like Gary Mason and Lennox Lewis when they fought. Lennox Lewis, decorated amateur career. Gary Mason didn't do much as an amateur. As a pro, he was unbeaten, knocked people over. And then when it came down to it, in a big fight, the skills of Lennox Lewis, the skills of Taylor won. I'm not saying Taylor won the Olympic gold or anything, but he had a decorated amateur career, which helps. The other thing is Ohara Davis going to listen? I don't know. And, you know, Ohara Davis, to me, is the kind of man that needs to go. He needs to go away, leave America, leave England, go to the States, get himself with a trainer like a Bashir, a Tom Brooks, Nazim Richardson, a real top trainer, even a Harold the Shadow Knight, a top trainer, and let him listen and spend a few years over in America learning his trade and doing his business in America. That's what I would do if I was Ohara Davis. Is there any chance of Eubank winning Super Series in your opinion? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It makes too many mistakes, and he won't have the control that he's got at the moment. And I just don't think that he's as good. I think he's a limited fighter, and I just don't think he has enough versatility in his game to win the Super Six. If you look at who won the Super, who won the Super Six, you look at Andre Ward, who was able to adapt. I don't know if Eubank Jr. is going to be able to adapt. Eubank Jr. is not a big one-punch knockout artist. I just don't see it somehow, and we have to see how he does against Arthur Abraham first. But no, I don't think he hasn't got that caliber. You look at Andre Ward, Olympic gold medalist. You know, he was a successful fighter. Even the best of Eubanks doesn't compare to Andre Ward. So I just don't see Eubank. I don't see Eubank doing it. Groves has an outside chance because he can punch. Since he lost, he's got better. Has he? Well, what do you measure that against? He hasn't fought anybody as good as Billy Joe Saunders since he's lost. So how do you know he's got better? That's the question I was put. So that's where I look at it. He's got a chance of winning the Super Series, but he wouldn't be my favourite. I think George Groves stands a better chance than Eubank Jr. I think George Groves is a bigger super middleweight. I think his physical attributes, he can box, he's got a good jab, he's got big punch, big punch, he's a big puncher. And for the first six, George Groves is dangerous. If it was at middle, I'd give Eubank a good chance, but not super middleweight. Yeah, I just don't give a chance. I don't see it actually, but there you go. Yeah, Eubank. Yeah, Arthur Abraham. We'll see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Arthur Abraham fight will be. We'll see if he's got better or he's got worse or he's just the same. He's got to do better than he did against Quinlan. Let's put it this way. He's got to do much better than he did against Quinlan. Because if he fights like he fought against Quinlan, against Abraham will knock him, stop him. Personally, if he fights the way he fought against Quinlan, against Abraham. Because Abraham can punch. I keep telling you, he can punch. Right. Like I said, please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe to our gaming channel. At the moment, we've got a few games on there. Football Manager. We've got Batman. We're playing Game of Thrones. There's a few others I'll be doing in old school Amiga games. I'll be getting on my PS4 and doing some new games as well. I've got FIFA 17 on there. I'm doing the Ultimate Team, building my team up there. So please subscribe to the channel. It's a new channel. We've got about 100 subscribers at the moment. We're closing on 10,000 views. So that channel is actually in partnership with Freedom. So please check it out and have a look and hit the subscribe button. And yeah, it's Amsterdam in the house, Mr. Amsterdam. Now you're in the room. A bit late. Have us on our seats. I hope so too, Mr. Amsterdam. Man, you're gonna have to come. You're gonna have to. I'm leaving now. I'm finishing my chat. I'm exhausted. But yeah, if you could definitely check it out. Please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate this channel and subscribe to the gaming channel. Thank you all for supporting Bwtm. Thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate if you support by sharing this video across on your Facebook page, on your Twitter page. We really would like the support. It's not a problem, but I'm out now. But thank you so much, and we're gonna have to catch up soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Or when you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the little bell on it as well. Hit the bell on the next to the subscribe button. And if you want to know how to subscribe at the end of this video, you'll see it as well. There's a circle in the middle of the video. Hit that button. That'll help you subscribe as well. Thank you all so much. This is Bwtm. I'm out of here. You take care. And July 15th is my birthday, so I'll have a lemonade on you. Take care.